Hi Aries, happy birthday guys. Welcome to Carol's Universe, Tarot Readings from the Heart. So this is the first reading going up on the channel because it's your birthday. What I decided to do now is for each of the signs, when it's your birthday month, as long as your birthday carries on going, you're always up first every week, and then, you know, we alternate it, you know, for the next, whatever, for the next sign. So this week we're looking at the 30th of March through to the 4th of April 2020, and I want to do the reading slightly different this week, Aries, because in light of what has been going on in the world, which you'd have to be living under a rock not to know what's going on, I really wanted to do just a message from Spirit for each of the signs with what's happening. It's a really frightening thing, and I just think it's a really scary situation happening for everyone at the moment. You know, the fact that things have changed so much, and you know, last night I was actually sitting down listening to some music and just remembering the time where things just, you know, things were just so easy. It just felt like things, and it's funny because you look back and you think, oh my goodness, I thought things were difficult at certain points, but actually they were really easy, because this is far more difficult, even though it's being done so it saves lives, which is absolutely fair enough. It's still very scary. So I just wanted to do a reading for you guys, just really kind of a message from Spirit. Now I'm using the This Might Hurt Tarot deck by Isabella Rotman, no pun intended or anything with that title of the deck. It's just a beautiful, beautiful deck, one that I really, really enjoy working with, and one that's very clear in its intent on the cards. Spiritual advice comes from the Psychic Tarot of the Heart by John Holland, my favourite oracle deck of all time. It's incredible. And if I need any clarifiers, I use my Velima Tarot deck, but I've trimmed and edged this one, so it's a trimmed and edged deck. Alright, bear with me while I shuffle. Okay, Aries, let's have a look then. The message from the universe this week. So the Ten of Cups, it's all about family and love and joy and contentment with the Ten of Cups energy. I mean, tens, yes, they do mean ending of cycles, but we're talking about family as well. You know, you can't just read every 10 as an ending cycle, yeah, even though that's what it is. This is also about the family. And the Ten of Cups is just about family fulfillment, you know, family contentment and feeling fulfilled. It's a kind of fulfillment, really, the Ten of Cups. It's something that's fulfilled itself often with the Ten of Cups energy. And the King of Cups energy. So I think that this is a week for focusing on just kind of spending time with family, giving love to family. And I also feel that the message is that family can help you weather this storm. Because the King of Cups, if you look at what he's doing on the card, he's weathering the storm. Now, the thing with the King of Cups is he's usually on this particular deck, which I love the way he's being depicted. He's got a little crown on his head there. He's on the water, right? And he's in this boat, as you can see, Aries. And you can see that the waves, the water is a little bit choppy. We can see that it's a little bit choppy is the water. But he's still kind of getting through it. Okay, so the King of Cups, one of the meanings for this card is that weathering a storm. That's what the King of Cups does. But through family, I think that you can weather this storm. So it's important to kind of connect and be with family if you can. All right, if you can't be with family and you live away from them, then try and connect with them on Messenger, that type of thing. Because through family, I believe that you'll be able to weather this storm with the King of Cups energy showing there. The Knight of Wands is travel, actually. It's travel. Movement is the Knight of Wands energy showing here. Right, the High Priestess in the reverse. That's interesting. I think that you need to allow your voice to come through. Because the High Priestess has a voice when she's reversed. And she speaks. But also the High Priestess can be intuition being blocked as well. Okay. Let's have a look at the next one. The Strength card. Ooh, look at these. Let's have a look at what we've got here then. So the Strength, power. You know, it just almost feels like it's saying to me, unleash your powerful voice. That's how it feels like it's saying. Okay. Even though, I mean, when you do tarot, you don't have to read cards. In terms, we know that that's somebody who's lacking intuition, or they're not paying into their intuition. But also remember, in the upright, she doesn't speak either. She doesn't speak at all. She's quiet. In the reverse, this is somebody who speaks. All right? She's not being, I don't believe that this person is being kind of, you know, aspected by negative cards. If she's aspected by negative cards like swords and stuff, she's probably a gossip, that type of thing. But I feel that you need to allow your powerful voice to speak. And I feel that family, with the Ten of Cups energy, the message may be that family will help you weather this storm. Okay? Because I feel that it's speaking about the voice with the High Priestess reverse, I feel with the Knight of Wands, one needs to unleash their voice this week in a really powerful way, because the Strength card is all about power. Okay? It's all about having the power to unleash the voice this week. So maybe you need to kind of build up the power. Possibly, it almost feels like you need to speak to family. That's how it feels to me on the reading, Aries. It feels like you need to speak to family. That's how it feels. Because I feel that some of you guys have probably been quite silent for quite some time. You've not spoken when that card was in the upright. But now it's time to speak. And the Knight of Wands is movement. So it's almost like the voice needs to travel. The voice, High Priestess reverse, needs to travel. Okay, the strength, you need to have the strength to unleash your voice, to open up vocally. Okay, because I feel that through family you're going to cope with this time. Some of you guys may not have contacted your family, I think, in a long time. You may have problems with your family, but now is a week for kind of getting back in contact, I think, with some of the with your family members, just to basically check in and see if they're okay, even if you've had a falling out. The Magician, again, it's a card of communication, is the Magician energy, showing it's ruled by Mercury. And the Nine of Cups. So manifestation of dreams and wishes. This is a manifestation card then. I think that this is a week of manifestation for some of you guys, or a dream or a wish can be manifested here with this Magician energy showing here. Oh, wow. Freedom. So freeing oneself with the full energy from Page of Coins. Page of Coins. That's interesting. Dreams are manifesting here. So the manifestation, Magician, offer wish, a dream. The Fool, new skills. So you're developing, you need to learn how to develop a new skill. Queen of Swords is communication as well. So we're developing a new skill in communication here. Developing a way of communicating in a new way. You know what I think this is about? When I look at the cards, Aries, I think it's about learning how to... The message from the universe this week is about you learning how to communicate in a new way. Because I get the impression that some of you guys, it feels like it's a family-orientated reading. And, you know, I've been saying with all of the signs that I've been reading for on this particular situation, that what's happening in our world right now, it's kind of thrown everybody for six, hasn't it? But what I've said on all the channels is that all of the signs that I've read for, and I'm reading for 12 obviously, is that if anything, when you have something so dark like this that happens, innately it teaches you something about yourself, and it teaches you something about a situation. So it is the great equalizer, it's the great balancer, it is the tower moment in humanity, but we know that when the tower falls, it's replenishing the earth, right? So we know that after this happens, things will change. They're going to be very different for a lot of us, and they'll take time to come back together. Of course it will, because that's the way that things work when things like this happen. But also in terms of who we are, like for some of the signs I was seeing that it was helping people. If we want to try and look at this in the most positive of light, which for a lot of people will be difficult to do, because there's a lot of people who are losing their businesses. A lot of people are not making as much money as they used to make. Every business has to take a hit, you know, no matter what you do, because people are going to be much more careful with what they spend. They're going to be much more cautious with what they spend. So anything that isn't necessary, people are not going to spend on, that type of thing. So everybody's having to learn to do things in a different way. And I think that when this kind of ends, we are going to be different as people. Whether it's in how we interact with each other, perhaps on the outside, but also how we interact with people on the inside too. And what I'm getting at here, Aries, is that family with the Ten of Cups can help you weather the storm. But I feel that you need to have the strength to release, with this Knight of Wands energy, your voice, with that High Priestess being reversed and the fact that she has a voice when she's reversed. She's not silent when she's reversed. This is somebody who's detached and silent. In the reverse, she speaks. So family can help you weather the storm, but you need to have the strength to release your voice, because it's the voice card when it's reversed. Okay? Dreams and hopes and wishes can be fulfilled with that Magician energy. But I feel that you need to learn a new skill on how to speak with that Queen of Swords. So it's almost like the tarot is saying that you need to learn how to speak to certain people again. Because it may be that before all of this happened, Aries, that some of you guys had a fallout, or you had a problem with someone in the family, or a friendship maybe, or, you know, there was a lot of shouting, for example. But we're learning a new skill. So we've got the Fool and the Page of Coins here, and this is all about skill sets. So when you get the Page of Coins, it's learning a new skill, a new practical way. Because the Page of Coins is the practical skill. So when you get a Page of Coins, this person can learn how to become a mechanic. This person can learn how to, they can learn how to become an accountant. It's a practical skill. It's not knowledge. Knowledge is in with it, but you're learning something practical. So perhaps the new Full energy, practical skill with the Page of Coins is in communications. So maybe the new practical skill is something to do with learning how to communicate with someone, but learning how to communicate with them in a new way. So whether that be learning how to communicate with people via messenger, maybe that's a new way of communicating with people. Okay. I think actually this is actually saying two things. I think when I look at it, when I look at the spread, Aries, it feels to me like this is actually saying two things. I think number one, the top line is saying for some of you Aries people that family can help you cope, because the King of Cups is a coping mechanism, because he's riding out the storm. He's keeping his head above water. So family can help you cope. They can help you to ride out the storm that we're going through right now. However, the only way that they're going to be able to help you ride out the storm, Aries, is if you have the strength and the confidence now to release your voice, to open up, to talk, because some of you guys may not have spoken to somebody in quite a while, okay? Especially if you've been dealing with someone that you felt very strongly, strength, energy, criticised by with the Queen of Swords, because this is somebody who's critical sometimes, and this is somebody who's strongly strengthened the Queen of Swords. So especially if you felt that there's been somebody in your family who's been heavily with the Strength card critical of you, it doesn't mean that you still cannot feel supported by that person to a certain extent. So family can help support and help you get through this difficult time with this King of Cups energy, if you have the strength and the confidence to release your voice and to open up. The other thing to say is that dreams and wishes can be fulfilled. Okay? But I think some of you guys need to learn with that Page of Coins energy and the Fool a new way of speaking as well. All right, so some of you guys may need to, I think that these may be two different things. Some of you guys need to learn a new way of kind of communicating with people, whether it be via messenger now or text message, whatever it is, certain people. But more than anything, it actually does work as one, because it's saying here, we'll do this one more time, that the message for the week is really overall, with all of the cards in together, you guys can weather the storm through family, but you have to have the confidence to release Knight of Wands, the voice, because you haven't spoken to somebody in quite a while for some of you guys, especially if you feel that person's being heavily critical of you, the Strength and the Queen of Swords. Okay, dreams and wishes can be fulfilled, but I feel that you need to learn a new way, a new skill of speaking. In other words, the way that you've been speaking to this person, or the way that you've been conversing, communicating with this person before, may have been very difficult. So what one has to do is one has to now let go with that Knight of Wands and the Strength. Let go of the ego, because the Strength card can be the ego and the Knight of Wands means to let go. So one way that we need to do this, especially if there's someone you've fallen out with, Aries, one way that you need to do this is by letting go with the Knight of Wands of the ego, of the Strength, and speak with the High Priestess in the reverse. Okay? If you want to if you have a dream that you want to be fulfilled with that Magician and the Nine of... So this is the dream coming to fruition with the Magician. One needs to learn a new practical way of speaking. Okay, so slowing down the speech, listening to what the person says, them listening to what you have to say. It's a give and take thing. So this is a week for communicating with people who you've probably fallen out with. Maybe you want to give them an olive branch, that type of thing. Let's have a look at what the advice is, spiritual advice. Universe, Spirit, what's the spiritual advice that you have for Aries this week, please, in 2 cards? What's the spiritual advice that you have for Aries through this reading in 2 cards? It says your darkest fears. That must be the Nine of Swords, I think that one is. What colour is this? Yeah, it's dark blue, 9 of Swords. So darkest fears. Helpless and hopeless. So some of you guys are feeling helpless and hopeless. You've got some real fears going on here, and you've got an 8 of Swords as well. The cards that are on the borders of dark blue are the sword cards. So you're deep, and I think that your darkest fears are keeping you powerless. That's the advice. Your darkest fears are keeping you powerless, because the helpless and hopeless card is the 8 of Swords, and 8 of Swords is about powerlessness, and this is about anxiety. So if you've got anxieties, it's really keeping you probably powerless, and it's probably keeping you away from doing this. All right. So what does Aries need to do in this situation then in 2 cards? What do they need to do in this situation in 2 cards? You need to rest and reconsider. All right. That's the, what is this one? The 9 of Wands. Is this the 9 of Wands? I think the purples are the ones. I think that they're the ones. Rest and reconsider. It's the number 9. So I don't think it's not a 9 of Cups. And it's not a 9 of Swords. We've already got the 9 of Swords there. And it's not a 9 of Coins. Or it might be. I don't think it is coins. I think it's the 9 of Wands. You need to rest and reconsider. And go with the flow. The Wheel of Fortune. Rest and reconsider and go with the flow. And also the Wheel of Fortune is also moving from this stage to this other one, so before moving to the next phase. So you need to rest and reconsider before going to the next phase. So really this is a time about thinking through what you're going to say, because if the darkest fears and the 8 of Swords, if your anxiety is keeping you bound and keeping you feeling that you are powerless to affect any changes in whatever this situation is, Aries, then the advice is to take a step back and really think with that 9 of Wands energy there before you move to the next phase. So what are you going to say? How are you going to say it? What do you want to say? Have a plan of action, that type of thing. But it's a good week for really connecting with family members maybe you haven't spoken to in a while, because I think we all need a support network, and you can do it, obviously it has to be done online, on Messenger or via phone or text or something like that, but really just take a step back and think about what you're saying going forward. Okay, all right, that is your reading for the week, guys. Love you loads. Stay safe. See you next week. Bye bye.